A heart of kindness. Santino's heart was racing as he walked quickly down the streets. His eyes searching every corner and every alley. He was looking for Alessandro, the old man he had been visiting every day. But Alessandro was nowhere to be found. The spot where Alessandro usually sat on the corner near the cafe was empty. Worry filled his mind as he searched for his friend.
Where is Alessandro?
Santino didn't give up. He started asking people if they had seen Alessandro. He spoke to the shop owners nearby, hoping someone knew where the old man had gone. But no one seemed to have any answers. Finally, a man sitting near a small shop told Santino that the authorities had made Alessandro leave.
Made him leave? Why?
Santino couldn't believe his ears. He had to find him. His mind drifted back to the day he first met Alessandro. It was a cool, beautiful afternoon. The soft breeze rustled the leaves, bringing a refreshing chill to the warm sun. The charming cobblestone streets wound through the village. Cafes filled with the smell of freshly baked pastries, and with laughter as people sipped their drinks. Tall cliffs stood against the backdrop, their rugged beauty contrasting with the calm blue waters below. The air carried the scent of blooming flowers, making every breath feel light and invigorating. Santino was walking home from school. He noticed an old man sitting on the sidewalk, his face lined with deep wrinkles, and his eyes looked tired. It looked like he hadn't eaten for days. People walked by without even glancing at him. Santino's heart softened. He walked right past him, but something made him stop. All he had in his bag was a small sandwich, his lunch. He didn't have to think twice. He went over to him and offered the sandwich. The old man looked up in surprise and accepted it with a soft smile. He thanked Santino. That small moment was the beginning of something special, something that Santino hadn't expected. Santino sat down beside him, curious to know more about him. The man introduced himself as Alessandro and shared a bit of his story.
I'm Alessandro. I was a baker.
Santino listened closely. Alessandro had once been a baker, proud and fulfilled. His bakery was the finest in the city, known for its delicious bread and pastries. His life was full of joy and success. But then, everything changed. He decided to expand his business. He felt excited and hopeful, He hired a manager to help run the bakery. At first, it seemed like a good choice. Soon, he realized the manager was stealing money. Alessandro was devastated when he discovered the truth. By then, it was too late. His dreams crumbled around him. He lost all his savings and had to close the bakery. Soon after, he lost his home too. With no family to help him, he ended up on the streets. Santino couldn't help but feel sad. Though he didn't have much himself, he promised to return the next day with more food. He told his parents about Alessandro. His mother, touched by his kindness, packed an extra sandwich for him the next morning. Santino continued visiting Alessandro every afternoon, bringing him food and spending time listening to his stories. Slowly, the two became friends. Santino learned about Alessandro's love for baking and how he dreamed of reopening his bakery. Though he had lost everything, the old man remained hopeful and kind. A week passed, and Santino's kindness didn't go unnoticed. He visited Alessandro every day. People in the neighborhood began to observe Santino. Some of them started helping too. The cafe owner down the street left a bag of pastries for Alessandro one morning, and another neighbor dropped off a warm blanket on a chilly evening. Santino's kindness seemed to inspire the neighborhood. They began to care for Alessandro. However, not everyone was pleased. One afternoon, Santino overheard two men complaining about homeless people like Alessandro. The men expressed their frustration, saying that people living on the streets were ruining the city's image. Santino felt a surge of anger. How could they talk about someone like Alessandro that way? He wasn't hurting anyone, he was just down on his luck. The next day, when Santino arrived at his usual spot, Alessandro was gone.
Where is Alessandro?
Santino felt helpless. He had tried so hard to help, but now it seemed like everything was falling apart. He went home and told his parents about what had happened. His father, who worked for the city council, listened carefully and promised that he would see if he could find out where Alessandro was. However, Santino didn't want to wait. He wanted to help Alessandro right away, so he decided to write a letter to the mayor. He wrote, explaining Alessandro's situation and asking for help. He wasn't sure if it would make a difference, but he had to try. Days passed, and Santino continued searching for Alessandro, but there was no sign of him. He felt a deep sadness in his heart, afraid that Alessandro might never come back. But then, one afternoon, as Santino turned the corner near the cafe, he saw someone sitting on a bench. It was Alessandro. Santino rushed over, overwhelmed with relief. Alessandro looked different now. He looked healthier, wearing a warm smile. Over the next few months, Santino continued to visit, watching as his friend began to rebuild his life. Alessandro saved enough money to rent a small bakery space. He reopened it as Santino's Cafe, as a grateful gesture to his little friend, where he baked his famous bread loaves. The smell of freshly baked bread and pastries filled the air. Alessandro's face lit up with happiness. Santino knew that their bond was something special, something that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Santino lived up to his name like a true little saint. Compassion is not always about grand gestures. It is about noticing when someone needs help and doing what you can. That's all it takes to make a world of difference.
Let's learn about adjectives. Adjectives are describing words. They describe nouns or pronouns to make them more specific. In simple terms, adjectives are words that help us create a clearer picture when we talk or write. They allow others to imagine things better about what we describe. Example, it is a beautiful afternoon. Beautiful is the adjective that describes the noun afternoon. It helps create a clear image of the scene. Here's the list of 52 adjectives used in the story. Invigorating, adjective, making somebody feel healthy and full of energy. Compassion, noun, a strong feeling of sympathy for people or animals who are suffering and a desire to help them. Devastated, adjective, extremely upset and shocked. Overwhelmed, verb, to be affected very strongly by something. Grateful, adjective, thankful.
Now, the questions. What did the cafe owner leave for Alessandro? What name did Alessandro give to his new bakery?